Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. My name is Lapis Dragon, and today I wanted to break up the usual Let's Play content with a challenge. Can I beat Pokemon Fire Red with a bickering married couple for a team? So that's probably a little confusing, but the general idea is in games, there are some Pokemon that canonically have rivalries. In Gen 3, it was Zangoose and Seviper. In Gen 5, it was Heatmor and Durant. And while I would love to do a playthrough of Gen 5, I love those games with Heatmor and Durant, I'm also pretty sure I'm one of 7 people who remember that they exist. So I decided to do it with the most famous rivalry, Pikachu and Meowth. There are a couple reasons that I could list off the top of my head. The main three that come to mind are the rivals in the anime with Ash's Pikachu and Team Rocket's Meowth. In the original Pokedex, Pikachu was number 25 and then Meowth was number 52, so they were opposites in that sense. It's also like a bit of a cat and mouse thing, and those are just the ones that come off my head. So that's why I wanted to do this challenge with Meowth and Pikachu specifically, but if I ever do this challenge again, the next one I'm definitely doing is going to be Heatmor and Durant. I love Gen 5. Now that I've explained why I chose that pair, I should explain why I chose Fire Red. It's better. Anyways, let's look at what our two Pokemon are like so we can see, kind of how hard this run's going to be, what we can generally glean the difficulties are going to be. Okay, so starting with Pikachu, it's not very good, and I don't think I need to be the one to tell you that. It's very frail, it has terrible defenses across the board. Defense, just regular defense, is actually its lowest stat. It also has an HP of 35, so, eh. It also has terrible attack, and I should also mention that it has a higher attack than it does special attack, even though it is mostly a special attacker with its best moves being stuff like Thunder and Thunderbolt. But it does have a 90 in speed, which, it's pretty good for that's pretty good comparatively. But yeah, and also like it doesn't learn a lot of other interesting moves. It can learn Brick Break, which could be good, but I think it'd be better to just teach it Dig. It also learns Double Team and Slam. So, it's just not very good. Let's hope that Meowth can do better, I guess. So, I did the research. I think Meowth might be worse than Pikachu. Maybe. The first major upside that I noticed with it was that it learned Bite at level 10, so that's probably going to make the Rock Gym a lot easier, assuming if I start with Meowth. Actually, I'll explain that later. Also, it is a little bulkier than Pikachu. It has more HP, and a little more regular defense, but it does have worse attack in both. Actually, in both in both of the attacking stats. Uh, but I think it makes up for that by having a lot more move variety, which is good. It can also learn Thunderbolt and Thunder for some reason, but it can also learn Shockwave. This is good. But to me, the three moves that really stood out to me were Water Pulse, which could be very good for Giovanni. Shadow Ball, which really just stood out because it was Shadow Ball. I forgot that this was before the physical special split, so it's actually a physical move, but still, it could be fun. and it could be useful against Sabrina. And Ariel, oh, also Aerial Ace, which could be useful against. God, you always forget her name. Grass Lady. And outside of that, all of its level up moves are pretty subpar. It's fine. So, now that we finally have all of the rules and reviews and whatnot out of the way, let's finally begin the Pokemon Fire Red Bickering Married Couple Challenge. So, I start by naming myself Lapis, my rival John, obviously, and grabbing the free potion in the PC. One thing that I didn't mention before that I probably should now because I never made a rule segment at the start because I suck at my hobby, is that I don't want to use battles or items in battles for this run. I've never done that kind of thing before and I thought it might be fun. I am still allowed to use held items and items in between battles. So yeah. I also use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, or the upper. I don't know why I thought I'd say it like that. To replace Charmander with Meowth. I chose Charmander so that our rival John would have Squirtle, who's probably going to be the easiest to fight. I also chose to replace Charmander with Meowth because the earliest you can find a Meowth is Route 5, but the earliest you can find a Pikachu is in Viridian Forest. Also, I named the Meowth Bob, and he has Pickup. So I can't wait to forget he has that and then never be able to use that at all. Anyways, I return Oak's parcel, I grab the Pokedex and the town map. This is every Fire Red run. Wait. Oak just said that the Pokedex is his new invention. How do you know what it does? Yes, I know how to catch a Pokemon. God, I swear. Why do people complain about the new games? There's so many more quality of life things. Anyways, I finally got to Viridian Forest and forgot to record myself catching the Pikachu because I suck at this. I named the Pikachu Linda and the Meowth is Bob if you forgot. If you get the reference, you get the reference. So now that we've got the team together, I definitely cannot beat Brock at this point. He has like a level 12 and a level 14 Geodude and Onix, and I have a level 6 Meowth as my strongest Pokemon, so we're definitely gonna have to do some grinding. So much grinding that it took an hour. And after that was done, I decided to go up and fight the optional Route 22 rival battle. The battle starts with John sending out his Pidgey and I my Pikachu Linda, who paralyzes it with Static, and then 2 hits it with Thundershock. The next part of the battle is... Okay, for some reason I decided to send out Bob after defeating the Pidgey, even though I could have just kept in Linda for Squirtle. I don't know. I think the reasoning at the time was I wanted Bob to get some experience too. I don't know, it's just a dumb decision. So the rest of the fight with John just ends up being a who has the higher speed stat fight. And you know, that's what a lot of the early game fights are. But luckily this challenge requires that I use 2 Pokemon with relatively high speed stats for the early game. Yeah, so it ended up being a pretty easy fight, good boost of experience. Anyways, back to grinding! So after a brief 15 more minutes of grinding, I finally go to actually challenge Brock. So the battle starts and I immediately just spam Bite. Bite was the main reason why I wanted to have Meowth first, because Bite not only has a higher base power than Scratch does, it also is special due to it being a dark type move before the physical special split, and it also has a 30% chance to flinch. All of this culminates in the Geodude going down without a fight very easily. After a pretty easy knockout, Brock sends out his Onix and the fight really starts. I do way less damage to the Onix than I did to the Geodude, since Onix is at a higher level and has more special defense. Even though Onix misses its first Rock Tomb, it doesn't miss its second, and it takes me to about a third of my health. I will die in 3 Rock Tombs even if I had full health. And it also lowers my speed. Yeah, so Bob fainted, and I sent out Linda to realize that I literally couldn't do damage to it. I mean, technically I could, but it wouldn't be enough to do really anything. Okay, so yeah, obviously I didn't win that first attempt, but I am still haunted by the memory of Viridian Forest grinding, so I decided to do something I don't usually do and go in with an actual strategy as opposed to just spamming bite. That's right, it's medium brain time. So I immediately went back into the gym and challenged Brock again. So the Geodude fight went pretty much the same. I did end it at half health as opposed to 3/4 health. But I did level up, so I will take a little less damage and deal a little bit more. Rather than keeping in Bob, I decided to send out Linda to just spam growls until she dies. Or not dies, faints. A pleasant side effect of that I forgot to account for was that her static meant that Onix was also paralyzed. So that's a nice surprise. Linda did faint eventually, and I was forced to send out Bob. And then I just started fighting him over and over again. I said I did a strategy, I didn't say I had a complicated one. I did flinch him on the first turn, but because of all of Linda's fight spams, all of her Rock Tombs only did 3 damage. After a while, I was eventually able to take out Brock and end this first episode. Okay, that was fun. I really like this challenge. It is very, well, obviously it's very challenging because Meowth and Pikachu, they aren't bad Pokemons, but they work to... They aren't like horrible, completely unusable, but they're bad. But they also work together kinda well. Like, not completely well, but kind of. So, you know. I'm gonna do this last part in like a first take. I think that'll make it more fun. I'm also probably going to be doing more than just one gym each episode now, because I've had time to kind of like look for this, and I predict the episode's gonna be like 15 minutes long, and that's with the extensively long intro. So I think what's probably going to happen is just, 2 gyms each episode. And yeah. Don't really know what else I should add. I guess the last thing I want to say is thank you all for watching. I hope you have a good day. Yeah.